stuff I want to show. If you were not here yesterday or the day before, you'll notice the starting soon screen now has a little cutout in it. That's what I'm calling the security feed, which is basically I've mounted a couple cameras up here. We'll talk about them in a second. What else? We have updates coming to the show. Obviously, as always, it seems there's something new changing on the show. We're gonna have a new video editor soon. I'm trying to work out the details with them at the moment, and by video editor I mean someone else is going to create these compilation clips for me because I just don't have enough time. So that'll be an update on YouTube each week, as I originally planned to do. Every Saturday there'll be a release of the clip shows for the week. That's number one. Number two will be the sponsorship code that I have commissioned that needs to get put in. We're just working on some final tweaks. I have the code. It works. The timing is just off a tiny bit. There's some kind of, I know a little bit about code. I kind of have a background in it, but it really feels like there's an incrementer that's not getting reset. And so it's accumulating time because as the sponsorship feed spins on for a couple of minutes, it gets faster and faster and faster. So that seems to me like something's just not being reset. I am not going to deal with any kind of tanked quality. Not on the tech show. Jant, how you doing? I like those emotes. Is that a spaceman? I like that. That's pretty cool. So I might be fighting some quality issues right now, with which I'll have to sacrifice another Spectrum employee. So we have that coming up. We have Lynn is going to be creating some new cards for me, of which maybe I'll give some out. We'll definitely give some out at TwitchCon, but there'll be maybe some giveaways on the show as well. What else? The givesback program is still active for today. As always, it's active every day of the week. Any donation on this show, 75% goes into the fund where we go find someone in the community and we kind of upgrade a piece of their hardware. As always, you can find information about that below. I'm not going to harp on about that. There's one other thing I wanted to, a main thing I wanted to talk about. What the hell was it? Emote thing. Oh, TwitchCon. Okay, TwitchCon is coming up at the end of October. You may or may not know that. I am going. My wife originally was going to go. There was some problem with family watching the children, so she can't go anymore, unfortunately. So she has a ticket, as you may or may not know, or as TwitchCon did, they did do a good job of stating it. There's no refunds on the tickets, which is fine. It's like $180 or something for a ticket or whatever we paid. It's not that big a deal, but I thought that I would contact them and see if we could transfer it, to which they said yes. So if we find someone that is in need of a TwitchCon ticket, my wife was thinking maybe we could do like a 50% off or something like that for TwitchCon tickets. You get a TwitchCon ticket for a bit of a reduced price, and it's a 3-day ticket. And yeah, that's it. So just let me know in DM, Discord, Twitch, whatever you want. If you're interested in a ticket, I'll put it on Twitter later too. But we can do the exchange through TwitchCon. So at least another person can use the ticket instead of it just being wasted, Which kind of makes sense, because Twitch wouldn't want no one to be there. They make more money if someone comes. So not giving a refund is less beneficial to them than exchanging it for someone who will be there, because they'll also have the money. So it makes sense that they allow the transfer. I think that's pretty much it in terms of general show updates. A reminder again, Friday there will be no show. I have to be up at NASA for the day. I can't even really squeeze in an early show. It's possible I do something 9 to 11 in the morning and then split. No, I can't even do that. I got to be pretty much up there by lunch. All right, yeah. We'll just say no stream on Friday. There might be something late night sometime this weekend. We'll see. Keep updated on the Twitter if you're interested in that. Tomorrow there will be a show, of course. That'll be a longer show. It just sort of revolves around work schedule. So what's happening is, since I switched to mornings, I picked up a couple of new contracts, and I'm trying to balance out when the meeting schedules are, when things need to be on. Because basically I can flex my work time when I get work things done to any hour of the day. I can't flex a meeting to the evenings. Meetings I have to be at. Some I just need to listen in, some I need to participate. So I'm trying to sort of figure that out. Once I do, the scheduled times during the day will be more solid. The days are solid. It'll be Monday through Friday, of course. But the times each day will be flexing until I figure out the exact meeting schedule. I think that's pretty much it. Let's get into the tech stuff. So, you may or may not know this show is a fan of technology. You also may have seen on Twitter, I'll bring up the pictures so you can see them. I'll also show you the feeds live on my camera view in just a moment. But I will show you the idea. And then we might alter some of the engineering diagrams, although I will not be able to do that live, unfortunately. Okay, so I added some new screens this past week. It looks like this. This is what I'm looking at right now, okay? The reason I did this is, as you may remember, I had a bit of a problem with audio relays. Let me bring up my diagrams, and we can look at that. Twitch stream. Mosh tech. Here we go. Stream gear. Okay, so we bring over our engineering diagram. This is what we started with. Well, where are we at now? The problem was that, how do I open this in something else? There we go. We'll get it in Paint. That's easier to manipulate. Okay. Here's the stream gear. You may have seen this. You may have been here when I created it. This is what Mosh's setup looks like at the moment. Okay. The important pieces are this. The Yamaha mixer is here. Custom stream PC is here. And the gaming PC is here. These are the three main components, essentially. You may remember the problem was that I kept adding computers because I wanted each sound, each bit of audio to be on a separate line going into the mixer. Why would you want that? Because I can adjust all the volume levels easily on the knobs and the dials and things for on the mixer with my left hand, no problem. It's way harder to do that if I have to open up the Windows Volume Manager, whatever it's called, and then adjust the sliders for each one of these things, okay? So I've been going crazy. You know that at the same time I've been working on a rack mount system. I'm trying to get my PCs slotted into a rack, sitting on my desk, and then burn the side out with Mosh. We've been talking about it for the last few weeks. So one of the things I wanted to do was take these PCs, because you see here, this my music was coming through on a Windows Surface Pro that I have, and my alerts were coming through on a completely separate laptop, my Asus ROG. Okay, I had even another computer that was doing Discord. That computer was the stream PC. That's why you see this weird, like, oh, what's this? Voice audio going in and voice audio coming back. That's because I was sending the audio over to Discord on my stream PC, then routing it back into my mixer. Why? So that I could separate that sound from the main mix. If you don't separate only your voice out, basically everyone in Discord is just hearing your stream stuff. They'll hear the music, they'll hear the game sounds, everything. So what I did was run a FX line out of my Yamaha mixer, which is this line, out to Discord, and then come back. Okay? That allowed me to adjust the volume separately for just Discord, which is great because you don't want to be messing around in Discord settings. All that, you just one knob, turn it up and down. Your viewers don't have to deal with, any kind of, aggressive language or just loud people, just constantly talking. This is a little bit of a crazy setup if you're thinking about doing a rack mount, right? You have 3 different computers. Now you gotta worry about adding. How do I get my laptop into a rack? How do I get my Windows Surface Pro into a rack? So I originally thought I'll buy another 1U or 2U rack mount system, slot everything in that, all the alerts, the music, and the Discord, and then hypervisor it. So I have a couple of different sort of mini OSs on one box. The problem with that is that still to get the audio out, I would need a special audio cord which had 3 outputs. Okay, you know that most computers don't really have 3 outs. They have a headphones jack usually, and a line out, and the usual out. So adding a third is a little tough. Then you talk about adding a third in terms of a 1/4-inch jack to get it into the Yamaha mixer. Rare. How do I know that? Because I spent days looking for sound cards that were super cool, and the only ones I found were halvesies, giving me 2 lines out, and they're like $800. Okay. I found a solution. I found 2 solutions. Eventually I thought, wait a minute. What if I can add audio output devices into my gaming PC? I just described that most computers have a headphone out and a line out of the back of the motherboard sound out. What if you could add more sound cards to your system or some other thing? So what I did was I went on some pro audio websites and asked there, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. How do you do that? And the guys basically said, have you thought of a digital to analog converter? I said, well, I already have a mixer that kind of does that. They're like, no, something that goes on the PC side. I went to look that up. So they make USB versions of these things. I wish I did not have them all plugged in right now. I'd show you. Underneath my desk is a crazy mess of wires. So, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'll post it on Twitter and the Discord if you're interested. But, take a look at that. That is a USB hub, okay? And inside of that is plugged into 3 DACs, digital analog converters. Now, they come USB-C to 3.5 millimeter. 3.5 millimeter is the same jack you put into like your old school Walkman or your iPod. Anyone ever tell you look like the dude from Grey's Anatomy? No. Who is that? Is that McSteamy and McDreamy? That's an old show. Is that still on? And thank you, I think. T-Moon, what's up? Okay, so I bought these digital analog converters, okay? The USB-C to 3.5 millimeter. I'll tell you a couple reasons why that's a problem. Luckily, the DACs came with an adapter for USB-C to USB, like a regular size. So I put in the adapter, so now it plugs into just USB. I bought the USB hub, I plug them into that. The other side is 3.5 millimeter. The mixer doesn't take 3.5 millimeter. Luckily, I had previously bought all these converters to change 3.5 into 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch jacks are like what you plug into guitars, basically. Not sure his name or whatever. I'll look it up. Jesse Williams is his name, apparently. Okay, I'll have to look this guy out. Hang on a second. Hey, all right. I see this guy. He's not a bad-looking guy. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Hopefully your day as well. Okay, so I got the converters from 3.5 to 1/4 inch, run 3 lines into the mixer. Now I have 3 separate connections from my gaming PC into my mixer, 3 different lines through these USB DACs, which is great. Okay. Now I have the capability of pushing them out because my computer recognizes them all as like speaker 1, speaker 2, and speaker 3 is what they call it. Just because it's overlapping in your regular speakers, the name piece in Windows is already taken. So how do you route everything out? Well, some programs are real good at that. Discord, for example, has a settings, which if I bring it over here, you look at my Discord settings, output device, speaker 2. Easy. output the audio straight from Discord out the line that I want, no problem. There are more complicated pieces. Another thing that I wanted to be on a separate line is my alerts. Okay, so, and I still can't get it to work, by the way. So alerts are a little more complicated. Since what do you use for alerts? If you use Streamlabs OBS, it's probably that. I don't use that. I use OBS Studio. The way for me to get alert sounds and alert stuff is to bring up that little in Streamlabs. If you go and you go to alert box and then you go to the widget, launch widget or something like that, the window, the green one, it looks exactly like this. The problem with that is that now you're talking about how do I take that audio, plug it into a different line? Well, that's just a Chrome window, Firefox window, Internet Explorer window. More complicated. Why? Because browsers don't have audio settings. I wish they did, but they don't. They just don't. There are plugins for them that are unsupported currently. I went and looked. Luckily, a good friend of the show, Odd Garrett, found something inside of the sound settings. If you go to Windows sound settings, as I just did, I don't know if you can see it because my chair is probably blocking it. Sound settings here. Here's my sound settings. Headphones, microphone, etc. And by the way, don't let this confuse you. This is just the headphone line. That's not just the connection to my headphones. It's the headphone line going into the mixer. And the microphone is irrelevant as well because that goes through mixer. Other sound options. You go down here. App, volume, and device preferences. Okay? What's this do? Click on that. Bam. All of a sudden, now I got a couple of different applications, and I can route the output to different devices on your machine. You'll notice speakers and speakers too, the Connex USB audio. That's the name, or what Windows recognizes as the name of the pieces that I bought and plugged in. So now I can send any sound from Firefox out a separate line. On my mixer, that's channel 9, and that is the music. Okay? Do I get school credits for watching your stream? You should write an addendum. If you have like a technology course or a computer course, tell them you already watched 2 hours of it today, so you're all good. You're going to skip class. I'll write you a note. So there goes the audio. And by the way, I have Firefox on here because I listen to my music through Amazon Music. We purchase everything in the world through Amazon, so it just made it easy to use Amazon Music. I know a lot of people use Spotify, YouTube, something like that. Amazon Music for me. Graduated last year. Well, congratulations. And there could still be homework in professional careers too. Tell me you don't need to take any training at your next job. So that's what Firefox is here. Why does it have 4 Firefoxes on the app thing? I have no idea. None. There is only one Firefox open on my machine. It's this window. Apparently that registers as 4 different Firefoxes. I couldn't figure out. Every time I picked one and thought maybe that was the music, it wasn't. It switched. So I'm just having all of the Firefox audio going into one line, channel 9. Discord is going through channel 8. Discord's going through channel 8. That's the setting that I put in. Speakers 2 is channel 8 on my mixer. And then I have channel 5. Now, there's a problem in that the obvious situation is to go... I'm sorry, this is still on speakers 2. So Internet Explorer is what I was thinking, hey, I'll just have the audio from the alerts come through the speakers 2 line on channel 5. Okay? The problem is that for whatever reason, Internet Explorer in all of its glory and garbage won't open Streamlabs. I don't know why. I try to log in with Streamlabs. It's a blank screen, nothing. I can't get it to work. It's probably some dumb plugin like ActiveX or something that's not active, but it's really irritating, and I just sort of gave up on it. So right now, the alert widget is coming through on the main line for everything, so I can't adjust it separate. That's something I need to work on. But anyways, this is how I routed everything. I bought USB to 3.5 connectors, plugged them into a hub, have all these separate audio outputs now, and then routed the lines via this program into different channels. Only because I can't do it. I can't do it otherwise. There is a standalone Amazon Music player that I downloaded. Guess what? It has no audio settings. I don't know why. I contacted Amazon saying, hey, how do I change the audio output device? Oh, you can't do that. What the hell do you mean you can't do that? You're an audio program. You can't do that? Which is really weird. So maybe in the next version they'll have that. I've done networking plus. Always hated audio setups. Yeah. I just threw up when you mentioned Internet Explorer. I know. I'm just trying to have it on all the different browsers I can. Because I don't want it on Chrome. Chrome is my main... Oh my god. Chrome is my main browser, so I don't want to corrupt that. Ooh, too early or something. Okay. That's the new audio link. I'm pretty excited about it. It's working out really well. What does that mean for this diagram? Here's what that means. I can't edit this in Magic Draw at the moment because the license expired. It will be coming back though, so no worry, we'll get it back. That means this is gone. I wanted that red. That means this is gone. 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 All those gone. This is gone. What is it now? Now it's this. Here's game audio. Separate line. Separate line. Separate line. See how that consolidates everything? That might give you a better view. Now, here what we have is, here's channel 9. Oof, that's a little too big. Hang on a second. Go down to 12. Here's music. Done. Here's alerts. Done. Here is Discord. Done. The also good thing about having Discord on the game PC is obviously it's linked to this keyboard. So when I'm playing a game with friends on a stream, push to talk. When it was over here on this thing, I couldn't do that because I had to have a separate keyboard. I'm not going to be switching back and forth between keyboards to do push to talk. So it's a lot better now. But you can see what happened. These things are completely gone now. So I can basically take... I could change the size of this, right? I could erase these out of my setup. Don't need them. Which is awesome because I don't have to deal with several different kind of older pieces of hardware. Sometimes the Microsoft Surface Pro is a little difficult to manage. And my laptop's getting a little bit old. If you remember the infamous popping of the fan on one of my streams. I need to upgrade that to that new Zephyrus Asus ROG. That thing's pretty sick. So let me just erase these lines out. There. That's the new setup right there. Oh, and these are gone, which is the best part. Okay. You can see how much that cleans up the engineering diagram of my setup. Look how much that cleans it up. Bam. 2 big boxes, 1 mixer, that's it. Then we have the extra pro audio stuff. We got the cap card with the consoles. They're across the room. They're coming in on 1 cable. But way simpler. Way simpler. Guess what also this does? It allows me to buy a rack that's not 18U. Racks are dependent on size and cost more the larger it is. How is it working for NASA? My girlfriend works for a satellite company. I find all that stuff interesting. What company does your girlfriend work for? I'm interested in that. NASA is fantastic. NOAA is fantastic. I work for both. My main contract is with a satellite group called, or a project group called JPSS, the Joint Polar Satellite System. We launched in October of last year. Inmarsat, all right. Yeah, Inmarsat's the bomb. Inmarsat has a cool control center. In fact, I pitched a long time ago that NASA should change some of their operating procedures to how Inmarsat does things. And Inmarsat is pretty fluid. They're really sleek in that their control center and all of their fleet can kind of be run, I think, by a handful of people, maybe 2 people in the SOC at all times, the Satellite Operations Control Center. NASA could learn quite a bit from that. We're still working stuff out. There's new procedures, new software coming, so it's exciting, and we'll be able to do things quicker. But it's always a little shocking when you see someone like Inmarsat, even ESA, doing things, with 5 people that we do with like 300. So I love Inmarsat. But no, it's good. It's good. I work mostly on ground system architecture. You can see like this diagram here is basically a tool I use for work. That's how I developed this. It's called model-based systems engineering. This is the tool that I use to do it. So I just apply that work knowledge into my stream setup because my stream setup gets pretty complicated sometimes. Good old MS Paint. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, this is actually a tool called Magic Draw. Not this tool on the screen right now, but what made this background thing is a tool called Magic Draw. Okay, that leads us into our latest rack developments. As you know, I have two PCs sitting on the ground. I want them rack mounted really bad. One, I think it would be a cool project, and I love tech stuff. Two, it's just more organized. I could put most of the cables into the box. It may be a little bit louder, but I can use it sort of in an aesthetic way. As you've heard me talk in the past, I want to buy a rack that has a removable side. I'm going to take it to a shop and get it lasered out Mosh on the side so that when you see my security feed, as you may have seen earlier on the starting screen, you'll be able to see a view of that box and the LEDs lighting up the Mosh in the background. That's been my plan for many, many, many weeks. I have been searching for the right rack for quite a while, and I found basically the racks don't matter at all. Don't matter at all. They're just racks. They're just stupid racks. You can get a rack that is basically soundproof if you feel like spending $8,000. I'm not spending $8,000 on a custom on a PC home rack mount system. What's your opinion on the Space Force? I have many opinions on Space Force. I'll give you some of them. One of them is it's a waste of time. There are better ways to spend money. There are more needed things to spend money. That's number one. Or at least that's one opinion. I don't want to say there's a ranking. That's an opinion that I hold, that there's other things more important than we should spend money on. There's a whole nother opinion that I have, which may or may not relate to my professional career, that hell yeah, that sounds great. Why? Because they're going to need people that are pretty knowledgeable in space communications and navigation, in ground network setups, in satellite transmissions and like receiver and transmitters, in the whole ground networking aspect and data dissemination once the stuff hits the ground. That's real good for me. I'm okay with it on that aspect. A whole nother opinion of me says that is the future. So there is some... It's not bad thinking when you look forward. There's a definite argument to say, wow, that's what are we wasting money on at the moment? We have all these other problems to take care of. I understand that argument as well. But if we're talking about moving forward and looking to the future, that's something we're going to have to deal with. So, yeah. Bottom line, of all those opinions, the most important is it's good for me. So, I'm okay with it. Okay, so the rack mount. I have looked for racks. They're kind of generic. You can buy whatever you want unless you want the soundproof ones, and I'm not paying $1 billion for it. There are some cool looking ones. There are not cool ones. There's some with fans. Some of them are a little bit noise dampening. You can get quiet fans on some. Basically, the racks all kind of vary right around the same cost. You talk about $200 to $300 for an 18U, 15U-ish, in that range rack, okay? That makes sense because these two cases I have right now, I have two on the ground. They both cost like $200. So when you think about it, if I'm combining them into one, that $300, that's a decent price. It's not crazy or anything like that. That seems fine. Where we come into a problem is the chassis. So you may or may not know, racks come in sizes called U, as I just described. Let me open up a new MS Paint and I'll describe it here. So pretend like this is a rack, and I'm going to give you an example of what a rack mount is, just so any of my people that aren't quite clear, I will show you. Thought racks came in cups. Ha ha, juicy. Space Force, by what the USAF has pointed out, is centralizing all the different departments across the branches into one single branch department, less overhead, confusion, cost, paperwork. Yeah, that's pretty. That's one of the big bonuses of it. But in general, it's fine with me. I'm actually real surprised that the Air Force would be behind that, since they are a huge user of space communications. So this is a rack mount server. These are what they look like. These are something you slot. This is basically a rack. So you take a look at this. These things here are like 42U. Are like the 8-foot ones. I think are about 42 or 48U. U is a designation on about, I think it's about 1.5 inches is a U, something like that. So these servers vary in sizes. You can see these slimmer ones here are 2U, and these a little bit fatter ones are 4U. The difference in size is basically you could it's an interesting year in space development for sure. Too close together. I like space in mind. APUs at the bottom, the good stuff up top. Yeah, basically. So the 4U is basically, there are bigger components inside of 4U. It's a little bit bigger. For my setup, I will need 2 4U chassis because graphics cards are enormous. Is basically the main driver. They're large. They will not fit in a 2U rack. That's also good because the smaller the rack server you get, the louder it is. That's just because the fans are, that's just how they work. So let's pretend this is a rack. And by the way, a rack mount looks like this. It's just a rack, but it's tough to describe. So let me find a good one, like an empty one. How can I not find an empty one on Google? What the hell's going on? Am I searching the wrong thing? Okay. This is a little bit what it looks like. This is a musician's touring rack, I think. But this is 20U. So basically it's just a case with 4 pillars, and the pillars have these little holes in them where you can basically stick a rack and screw it on. Some of them have sliding racks, so you can pull the rack out to open it up. There are things like KVM monitors. You can slide it out, fold up a monitor. It has a keyboard on it, and you can control your whole rack from right there instead of doing a network. All different types of options. You can see here there's different sizes. These are pro musician touring cases, but it's roughly the same for a computer rack as well. For a piece, you know, a slotted IT rack maybe instead of a pro audio rack. This is about a 4U case here. So let's say we have a rack mount system here. The distance here, can I do something with this? No, I don't really. Let's say, let me get my pen back. Okay. So this here is the height. Okay. This is going to be U. So what I'm looking at, I'm thinking is a 15U system. I want 15U. Now, I told you I wanted 2 4U chassis. Okay. The reason is because I have large graphics cards. I'm going to be buying the 2080. That is going to be enormous. I need the height. Plus, if you get a little bigger, it's quieter. I don't want something sitting on my desk that's screaming, and I have to raise my noise gate where I'm like, this is how loud I have to talk to hear. I got to watch several of the Puget Systems stream on Twitch, and they were doing it. Some server racks sound like jet engines. Yeah. That's why when you go into IT rack rooms, people wear headphones. I have a few small ones that have glass front sound installations for fan of the rack. Pretty quiet, but I have them in a back room for sound. Yeah. If you go into a big server farm, the guys that go in and out of there will wear noise dampening headphones. They'll wear the headphones you see on the tarmac at airports because those things are loud, especially when you go into a server farm of like 600 of those things. So yeah, you can get, as what Juice just mentioned, the sound installation ones. You can get those. They're super expensive. It's not for a home setup. Those racks are like $2K just for the case. I haven't seen anything lower than like $1,500 at the size that I want. So I need 2 4U boxes. I'm going to draw those out here. You may be asking, why isn't it at the bottom, Moshkrates? That has some reasons. So let's say that these here are the spaces for my 2 4U chassis. Okay. So this is a 4U, and right here will be a 4U. This would be the stream PC. This would be the gaming PC. Those would be connected together. What I want on the bottom is a sliding drawer. This is the idea I have. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if it's going to actually work out mechanically how I want. So I want my mixer slotted. No, sorry. This is work. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. Work will have all that stuff because it's, contracts will pay for the big stuff like that. When you have it at home, you're not buying a sound insulating one. It's just too expensive. So at the bottom, what I would like, and I'm thinking I can get away with about 3U. I'm thinking. I'm going to add another little piece here. Okay, I'm thinking this could be 3. Okay. This is going to be a sliding shelf. So you can get sliding rails put into all your racks. It's no problem. I've installed those before. They're pretty easy. I want a shelf in there. Why? Because I want my mixer sitting on it. So that when I'm done with the stream, slide the drawer in, close the door, everything's bottled up. When I am streaming, slide the drawer out. The mixer will be facing this way towards me so that I can adjust everything that I want right here, and I won't have to mess with the servers above it. The problem that I have is, number one, the cabling of the mixer can be a problem. I have a 10-channel mixer and every line is full. I might have to buy a larger mixer, actually. So that's number one. Number two, if I have this on the bottom, it leaves no room for an APU or any kind of power unit. Some backup power, something like that. And number three, I honestly don't know if I have enough desk space. My desk depth is 3 feet. From the first tip of my desk here to the back is 3 feet. Racks are pretty freaking big. I think the regular rack, the average rack depth is like 19 inches or 21 inches, something like that. That's getting close, you know. The height will also be a problem because of the light. I have lamps here. I could raise this up probably another foot, but then that's it. So I have probably 2 feet height of space. If you're thinking about the size of rack, 4U of space is probably, I'm just guesstimating, is probably like 6 inches. So you're talking about 6 inches, 6 inches. Yeah, that's a foot. You talk about another foot on top of that. That's 2 feet off the top of my desk. There's a problem. I might be blocking a little bit of the light. These are things I need to figure out, and I don't know if I'll be able to figure it out until I just order the damn thing and get it here and see if I can move it around and get it to work. I want it on the desk specifically because so I can work the mixer, but also so that the cameras I have in the corners, when I put on those views, you can see the engraved side of the case. That's important to me. You might also be asking, well, you said 15U, you got 11 here. You got 4U left. Can't you just push it down to 12? I could do that. But then that depends on the depth. More than likely what I'm going to do is buy a rack mount switch as well. Those things are actually relatively cheap. Switches in general are just stupid boxes. But the rack mount switch is just attached to the back of cases. 4 screws, 2 screws sometimes because they're pretty light. Plug everything in. All your network cables stay inside the box. That's what I would like. I have like 3 different routers over here just taking up space on my desk. That will consolidate all that shit right out of here. Then I'll just need the modem, the phone thing, and the Google Wi-Fi for the rest of the house. My stuff will all be slotted in the rack. That's ideal for me. I also have a Nighthawk router at the moment that I may just put that on the back of the shelf that the mixer's on and just leave it like that. I may not need to buy a new switch. And then I'll just leave these extra 4U in case maybe I want to add something later. You may or may not know that this whole idea of a rack mount system came from this concept that I have a long time ago. For the originating idea, the original concept was, I'm sorry, hang on one second. Is there a way? Is there an organization that could be created where I'm walking down the street today, I hear someone talking, I see someone, I say, that person could be a streamer on Twitch. That person. They can know, is there a way for me to say, you right there, you're going to come in, you're going to stream on Twitch. You're going to be a professional streamer. You're going to make money. That's going to be your job. Okay? What I'm going to get in return is some commission. You're going to pay me. per month to do several different services. What does my organization do? We do management, we do PR, social media, tech support is kind of the initial concept of this. Can I create a box that I could go to someone that's never heard of Twitch before and say, you're going to be a Twitch streamer? Here's my solution. Here's my box. Go plug this in your house. Click, 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 play. Now you're streaming. It's just an idea I had. And basically the rack mount is a bit of a mini proof of concept. Can I push everything into one rack? So now it's consolidated enough where I can just pick it up, go, set it down, plug, stream. I know there's some nuances like microphones and webcams that'll need to be routed and placed in. And the concept of the organization would be something like what actors and other professionals have, where they have something like the CAA, which is a agency where actors have agents, and those agents handle a lot of different aspects. They aren't just making deals for them. They're doing management stuff. They're doing PR stuff. They're finding them other people to collaborate with, putting them in the right room with the right people, handling their day-to-day stuff, handling their schedule. It's like kind of like a I don't know even know how to describe it other than agency or management agency or something like that. I think the thing that hurts that the most is if their internet is reliable. Internet is such ass for a lot of people. With the future of fiber and emerging internet technology, it'll be possible all over fiber, similar to what GeForce is doing with remote gaming. Yeah, exactly. So that's the idea. I was thinking about something like that. Could I sell a box? Could I sell the solution? This is the stream solution. And then everything could be upgraded over time because you could just pull the rack out, take out the 1080 Ti, 2080 Ti, box it up, push it back in the rack. Technology stays relatively the same in terms of components. There's not going to be like, well, now racks are circular and blobs. So it's strange, you know? 5G wireless and Starlink satellite. Yes, and now is the time to invest in it. Yeah. So, just it's a baby idea I had quite a bit ago. We talked about it on the tech show probably like 3 months ago, and I'm just sort of slowly building to that. Plus, it's cool. It's a cool proof of concept in that I get to work with the technology, so I'm kind of excited. Anyways, that's the state of the rack. Oh, no. So I did find a chassis that I think finally might be solid. I looked at a lot of different chassis, didn't like them so much, and then I found one. To make sure. Yeah. A company called Grandia. Okay. This company makes racks. They are in California. Email they sent back. I sent them an email just basically saying, hey, I'm really interested in your box. How? You know, I had a couple different questions for him. Thank you so much, Silverstone Technologies, etc. This rack fits okay. Okay, so I'm just going to put text up here. That's not great. But basically they said, yes, our 4U rack would definitely work for that, because a lot of 4U racks have like proprietary shit inside where it's not really open, and there's different like overhead things where you can't really fit in a graphics card to it. This one is pretty open. It's basically like a PC case laying on its side, essentially. There's a couple extra fans in there. The only thing is I have a H100i Corsair cooler on my CPU right now in the game PC. I have an H60 on the stream PC. Those coolers won't fit in a chassis like that. That's just not how the fans work on a rack mount case. So they said basically it won't work. There are guys that have modded it to get it to work, but it's not. They have to use like zip ties and stuff to get it to attach to the side. It's kind of shoddy, you know. Do you own a 3D printer? I do not. My daughter would love one though. I probably need to get one. As for tower air coolers, you can still fit in rather large units. We would suggest you look into air coolers such as, and then listed a few. In terms of noise, will be as loud as the components you put in because of the case design. There's plenty of space to put silent 120 millimeter case fans, such as this one. The fan that is included in the case is very quiet though. We would recommend that when you're adding fans, you keep them so that the case has positive air pressure. Okay. Rack mounting the system is compatible with this kit. They sent me a rack mount thing. These guys were great. I sent them an email. They sent back a really long, kind of thought out email. One of the things I said, and a side note, if I buy this from you, do you have a suggestion for how to get the case modded? I would love to get my case printed, like airbrushed or something like that, whatever you call it, painted or something. The guy basically said we don't have any suggestions, but they've had people in the past that were interested in the same thing. They took it to a custom car shop and asked the guys if they could print there, because they're guys that are painting cars and spraying cars at a shop in a custom decal type manner. They're used to spraying onto sheet metal, basically. They're like, just take it in there. Those guys will probably do it. I'm like, oh, yeah, good call. So I might do that as well, because I want to just get like some kind of cool design, I think, on the outside of my cases. Because once I buy these cases, these are forever cases. Now I just upgrade components in and out of these things. I don't need to rebuy cases or any of that shit when this stuff comes out. I don't think there's going to be a graphics card that's going to come out that's bigger than 4U. That'd be like freaking a foot long graphics card. That's crazy. So this Grandia 07 is what I'm thinking about. Let me show you that one right now. Okay. This is the case I'm looking at the moment. A couple of different views of it. It looks pretty solid. There's a lot of space inside. Pretty good fan. There's several fans. You can see the openness of the inside. You look at some of the other rack, and you can see the openness of the back was very of interest to me. A lot of times you look at these cases, there's one or two bays open, and there's a lot of infrastructure in the back that's blocking stuff. You guys that, if you work in IT, you know what I'm talking about when you see some of these, some of the servers. They added all this extra garbage, like bridge steel working on the inside to separate stuff to make it more organized. This one's real open, which is what I really liked about it. So this is the case I'm looking at the moment. It's not too expensive either. It's like, I think it might be like $200, $100, and it folds up in the front, which I kind of like as well. I probably won't have things sticking in and out of the front. We'll just keep it closed most of the time, or I'll just take the door off. But, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So get that case, slide it in, lock it. It looks like a projector from the front. Yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it? And you can see, yeah, it's funny. The first question here, will it work with a liquid cooler? Unfortunately, no. These do not work with air coolers, because air coolers have a little bit of an extra bulk on them because the radiator is so big. So anyways, this is what I'm looking at. It comes with a decent amount of fans. They're actually really low sound already, which is pretty nice. Let me see what that price was again. Did this link to Amazon? Yeah, $134 is not bad. $134, I paid $200 for my PC case right now. 200 something, I think. 250 maybe. That PC case is a little smaller. Maybe that was like 150. So 134 is pretty solid for a rack mount case like that. That's what I'm thinking about. I think I'm going to prioritize soon. The rack is what I need to find next. I'm thinking I can get away with the 15U. That's going to give me a little extra space. That's going to run me about 300, I bet. Slap a Space Force emblem on the front and you're done. Yes. It might be cool to get a bunch of NASA stickers and stick them on the case. Sort of like a touring musician case where they stick everything on the outside. Because then I can always goog on it or whatever it's called to get those sticky crap off it later on if I want to switch it. That's the rack. That's where I'm at. Now, let me show you something with the camera setup because it segues into that pretty well. I'm going to explain each of the new cameras and where the rack's going to go. I don't have it mounted on my Stream Deck yet. Let me switch. You guys got me now. That's pretty funny. Thank you. So it's a test screen, and I was testing it on my own this past week, and of course I didn't need audio for it. That's really funny. Thank you, Garrett, for pointing that out. And whoever, Jan, thank you so much. So these different screens, this is a test screen that I was testing out last week. You may remember that I posted a picture of it on Twitter. The idea is that last week I wasn't streaming because basically my entire house was infested with germs and my whole family was sick. Somehow I made it out alive. I don't know. Every time I say that, I feel sick in my throat or something like that. What are you doing? I'm having a show, Joe Gamer. What are you doing, buddy? Okay, so these different screens. This one here, obviously, this is the Brio right here. This is the one I'm talking to. I have mounted shelves on my ceiling and the walls in my office to give what I'm calling the security feed of the room. If you remember the starting soon screen, there's a little cutout on the starting soon that's no audio. You could just see me sort of moving around and working different screens and things. So this one up here that I'm pointing at right now, hi. That one's on the side. That one is going to be the rack mount view. And let me show you how in just a second. This one over here, I'm calling the security view. That's the one you see on the starting soon screen. And I'll explain the one that's just above me in just a second. The rack mount, what I hope, and you can see over here, you see it pretty well. I've cleared off this side of the desk. I got a 2.5 by 3 foot area right here on the end. What used to sit here? The Microsoft Surface Pro. My laptop with the alerts. Since I've routed that audio into the game PC, I don't need that anymore. So I took them out of the system. Now all that sits here is my controller for Dead Cells and the Yamaha mixer, which we just talked about is going to go on the shelf inside the rack. So what does that mean? I have 3 foot by probably 2.5 feet, and I can slide this monitor setup over a little bit by maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet here. The problem is that light, that box light. I don't know if the height of the rack is going to interfere with the lighting of my setup. There are options for that. I think I may just buy the rack anyways because I can pop the top off of that lamp and attach it to the wall. If I really want to, if I really need to, I can get rid of the stand and just attach it to the wall. Oh shit, now that I said that, I kind of really want to do that. I gotta write it down on my notebook again. That's a way better idea than having these lamp stands. Shit. Okay. So the idea is that the rack mount is going to sit right here. You can see up here in this screen, the one I'm pointing at right now, you can see this side, this background side here. If this mixer is slotted in the bottom, this whole space will be open. What I want is the rack to sit here. The drawer slides out here. So here's the mixer now. I'm going to move this mic over to the other side, so I can operate the mixer no problem. And this side you'll be able to see right about here. Okay, right about here will be a burned out side of the rack. If we take a look at like a regular rack mount system, I could show you. You don't see it on the screen. Regular rack mount box, a rack case, is just like a piece of sheet metal on the side that attaches to the side. You can remove them. You can put on different sides, whatever. I'm going to get one that's plain and laser out the side of it. And lasering out the side is going to say Mosh right here, right? On the inside, I'm going to get a couple of RGB lights, attach them on the inside, and it will change colors the stream is going. So you'll see the rack, you'll see me playing with the mixer, you'll see me streaming from that camera right there, but you'll also see Mosh lit up from inside the case. I thought that was a really cool idea. That's kind of a goal I've been working towards with getting all these different kind of ducks in a row here. I have a lot of cables and dimensions to figure out, but I think, let me just check real fast. Yeah. That lamp comes off of that stand. I can take the head of that lamp off and put it on the wall. That just solved my whole fucking problem. Why didn't I think of that before? Where do you keep the controls for JPSS? Brains. I'm smart. So that's the plan. That camera will be sort of a view of the rack as well as kind of mission control here and everything we're looking at. You can see up here another view. One of the other additions I've made that you can see here is, you might have seen them on Twitter this week. I've added 2 new monitors to my setup. Basically I had two Dell SG27s sitting on the ground right here on two different, and you can see them in the cameras, by the way. I'm going to look at you, but you can see up there, right here. And the bases, bases of monitors take up a lot of room in general. So I was thinking, wow, if I move to 4 monitors, that is like it's preparing for the rack mount system, because I want everything running out of the rack into this stuff. I don't want to look over here for something, look back over here for something, play with the laptop over here, laptop over here. That's not what I want. I want everything on the same screen. I want one set of controls. Oh, that reminds me, I'm gonna need another KVM switch. Oh, that's another thing I gotta order, I guess. So I added the 2 screens. These 2 up here are Asus 24 inches. They were on sale on Amazon like $100, $113. Setup fine, looks like the intro. Exactly. We're getting closer to the way the intro looks. Exactly, Mike. So they were pretty cheap monitors. They're just 24-inch 1080 monitors. They're nothing like 1440 refresh rate and 2K monitor, nothing like that. They're just cheap monitors because all that's going on them are the alerts. I got chat, Discord, alerts, stream labels feature, and the security camera for my front door. That's it. That stuff is all what I called auxiliary stuff for the stream. Stuff you need to see that you don't want to be tabbing around looking for. You want to be able to read chat easy. You want to be able to read your stream labels list easily. Discord if you need something easily. I work in my basement from home. So I have headphones linked to a front door camera that I put on a while ago so I can talk through the Nest home bell or whatever it's called. If someone comes to the door, delivery man or something, I just let them know to leave the package or whatever. So that's what those are added for. This right here, they're all attached to one 4-monitor mounting bracket. It's just a big base. It's heavy as hell. I actually didn't think it was heavy enough when I took it out of the box, but I put the monitors on and it balances itself out quite well. They're all movable. I can change the angles. You can see the top 2 monitors are angled just a little bit. Just for ease of viewing, it ought to be like this. Although, I guess I am cranking my neck a little bit to look at these things during the day anyways. And then right here, I'll just have my email, music, and then over here's the game, obviously. So this setup is kind of preparing for what we're transforming into with the rack mount system. This has consolidated monitors and desk space on my desk. Next step, get that crap off the ground and into the rack. So that's what these cameras are for. These cameras are going to show up more often. That one in particular is going to be for the rack mount view. I will probably have something like that set on the lobby screen. I may have the starting soon screen be rotating through cameras. And I think there's a way to do that. I think I could show one feed and then have the timer function inside of Streamlabs or the Stream OBS Studio. There's like a timer function with the Stream Deck where you can basically switch scenes on and off over time. I may do that to show kind of a rotating security view during the initial part of the show, during the pregame show, and also probably during the probably also during the Be Right Back show. Scene. Fuck. Okay. There is one more view you see here. You're thinking, what the hell? Is that a button? Is that a pin? What is that? It is. There is a camera mounted 4 feet over my head right now. Yes, you can. I found a couple streamers that do that. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure it's from the timer function, but I'm sure it won't take long to figure out how, but I haven't tried it yet. So this camera above me, I have a camera attached to my ceiling. I have a couple of Velcro strips that I put up there and just attach the camera right to it. It's a C920 sitting up there. By the way, those are also C920s. Good camera, $50. You can find it on Amazon. This one up here is attached by a couple of, one USB extender into a USB hub, which is powered because if you're trying to extend stuff around your setup and trying to get different camera views or something, remember USB travels about 13 feet. I think it's 13 feet and then you need it powered. So if you can't just daisy chain extensions across your room. I found that out the hard way when I had a different studio for the news show. So get a couple of powered ones. You can get them on Amazon, not too expensive. So I have that one going up into the tiles of my room, down the wall, and basically I threaded it through the acoustic panels that are in here. So you can't see the cord, even though it's basically running in between the panels. That button is a good friend of mine. Her name is Metallic Lace. She's a mod on this channel. She's also a streamer, a creative streamer. She has a button she sent me when she had the new stuff made. I, at that time, when I put up this camera, decided this is going to be a new concept for the show. This is going to be called the creator wall. So any other creators that have buttons or pins will go up there. And we'll showcase some other people's work and just kind of give a, hey, this is our sphere of community. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the bar, which is my community, or Hero Squad, which is another one of my communities. There's Twitch Kittens. There's a big community. There's a ton of different communities. Doesn't have to be inside of any one. That's just going to be a showcase for other content creators. That screen will appear on the Be Right Back screen every day. The other cool thing about that camera is this. I can do something like this sometimes. Okay. So now what do I have? Now I have a view of sort of gameplay keyboard stuff, right? So you see a lot of professional gamers. I think Lupo does it. I know a lot of guys do it. I've seen Cora do it. I'm sure lots of esports people do it. But where they just show their hand movements or mouse movements, because it's interesting for gamers to see kind of how quickly they react to different things. It's interesting for me to look at. But I thought that might be another interesting view. What are we doing on the desktop? With this view, you can see sort of the stream deck here. You can see the mixer here. You can see me moving stuff around. Mouse, keyboard, the pad, everything like that. My notebook. So that's another view that I thought of. But the way it's attached, I can basically angle it straight down to do that. Or I can angle it up for the Be Right Back screen to do the content wall, or the creator wall. So that stuff was all added last week, sort of in the background. This is the first time I'm really showing it on the stream. But I was really happy with the way that camera worked out. And the way, actually, the Velcro strips work really well for it. This will be another view that sort of happens. This view may become more of like a Black Ops or a PUBG type of game, Counter-Strike, something like that, where mouse movement and speed really matters. When I'm playing something like Dead Cells, there's no reason to look at this. First of all, I'm using the controller anyways. But stuff like that, there's no reaction time or speed or any kind of technical skill involved with keyboard and mouse play. So those are the camera setups, the new camera views. I'm pretty happy with them. I actually had this crazy idea. Let me tell you about this one. So we can watch what buttons not to push during the final boss of Dead Cells. Hey, I beat that guy yesterday. I beat him. I'm on 2 stem cell mode now, baby. I beat him. So excited. Very last run of the day. Beat it. So I thought of another crazy idea this weekend. So this is what I was thinking. Because, as you know, if you've watched the show before, I'm never satisfied with anything. Even though I really love everything on my show, I'm never satisfied. I was thinking, what if, during a break sometime, if I'm still in the train of thought, I say, okay, let's take this on the road. And instead of doing one of these where you're streaming kind of to Twitch Live, or you're doing, I have an e-com camera setup where I can add in a remote feed from my phone. This is how I showed pictures around the studio before, but now I have a big camera, so it'll make it a lot easier to show. I was thinking, and this is crazy, what if I put a camera on a drone? I know they're a little bit loud, but I put a camera on a drone, and as I'm like, I gotta go upstairs, I gotta walk around. Did you just lose your mod and turbo? What just happened there? Or did you take those off as you're representing icons? That's really strange. We're doing a death count for a new challenge. So I was thinking, what if I put a camera on a drone, had a remote linked into the stream, and if I had to go upstairs for something or whatever, and I was still in the train of thought, we were still talking, I could just kind of continue, and the drone would just move in front of me as I was going upstairs to get a drink, make lunch or whatever, still just chatting. That'd be kind of weird, right? Would that be way too much? It's probably way, way too much. But technically, I want to see if I can do it. That might be something in the future coming up after the rack mount system is done. I want to always be kind of doing different things and new things on the show. And that might be kind of interesting to put something like that up. Then I could take it outside. We can go look around. Kids are home or something on the weekends. We can fire it up and just play around outside and chat. So I'm thinking about that. I don't know if that would be something like a GoPro or if I could put a 920 on it and have it USB linked into some kind of remote transmission back to the base here. Another streamer I follow built a robot arm controlled camera. Yeah, I've seen those because you can put a bunch of different servos and things to get these to get those to operate. But something that's sort of from my phone or whatever control system, just have it kind of go with me. I'll have to think about it more, but it's an interesting idea. Going to need a wireless mic. Yeah, yes, I will. Again, just a really far out idea I was thinking about. So that's another thing. Let me see here. Did I cover everything? Cameras, be right back. Screen, rack. Painting the rack we talked about. That'll be exciting. Mount the lighting. KVM search. Yeah. Okay, so those are technical things coming up on the show that you may see. This will be something I work on over time. Let's go back to what do we want to go back to? Let's go back to me. By the way, the content creator wall, I'm super interested in collecting pins from other creators. So if you are someone that has a show, has some level of merchandise, we have a pin or something like that. I know a lot of people do stickers. Because these things are being attached to the very, very top of an acoustic wall I don't want stickers on it because it'll rip the foam. But if you have pins or something like that, I'd be super interested in seeing pins or buttons. There's a drone that comes with an AI script that follows a signal. Now that's really interesting, Jan. I'd be interested in checking that out. If you have a link for that, I'd love to see it. How many notepads of ideas do you have? This is a GSAW, Ground System Architecture Workshop. I get serious with this stream. We're about halfway through this notebook. So we're back on the main screen. Okay. So I'm going to update this diagram at some point. This is what the studio looks like from an overall perspective. You just were able to see a little glimpse of it from the two camera feeds. This is me just taking a picture with my son this past Sunday. We were watching football of the new monitors after they're installed. That's what it looks like from the front. And I do want to find a better solution for my mic right now. I am very, very happy with the way it's mounted in that it's not sitting on my desk. So when I bump my desk, you can't hear it. I do run into it sometimes because it's a tripod feet. And I don't know what I want, I guess. Like what I'm imagining is a boom arm. Like that you see in TV shows, something where someone's operating the boom mic and it comes down in front of the actors' faces, but it's just off the screen. Like something like that, but it would be super long and able to manipulate. This one isn't bad. I'm being super nitpicky about it. But when I get the rack mount system, this will either have to move to this side or some other setup because it's not going to work on that side because the drawer is going to slide out. GSAW notebook contains no ground system architecture. It contains some. I mean, you could consider the idea for the diagrams, a little bit of ground system architecture. Yeah, so this is what the setup looks like at the moment. And by the way, you can see over here on this side, this is what I mentioned. I had a bunch of boxes that were like routers and modems and things. They're just sitting over here on the desk. I would love to get that cleaned up. In that way, I could maybe push the monitor setup over a little bit and give my rack a little more breathing room. It might be a little more area to get a lower form factor or even a higher, something like that involved on the edge of this desk. Because I'll be able to eliminate these guys. Like this box here, this box here, this box here, and this one here are all just routers and modems and shit. Just dead space in the corner there. Mosh 2.0 retiring from being a Bills fan at halftime. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Yeah. No, so this will be the next upgrade for my machine. I don't know if I'm going to buy it immediately. I have, you could see both of my stream machines, the gear set up with Stream PC and Gaming PC. You can see the gear in both of those. Stream PC is a little less gear, but the Gaming PC is a monster machine. You can see the 1080 Ti in there. I got a 1080 in the stream machine. So the obvious way would be to buy the 2080, stick it in the game machine, move the 1080 Ti over to the stream machine. Why would I do that? I like gear. I don't know. You don't need a 2080 Ti if you have a 1080 Ti. You don't need it. But it's a neuroses. I don't know how else to describe it. One thing I will want to get is a better processor into the stream machine. I got the i7 6700 in here. It's fine. But at the moment, the lowest preset I can set to is medium. If you know me, I need the quality and everything on this stream to be 100% the top, everything top. I want it to be slow. And slow is just a little bit too much for that processor. Just a little bit too much. So upgrading the processor will be the next step. That may come from a note that I saw at Micro Center the last time I was there. By the way, Micro Center, I hope, will be the first sponsor of this show. Micro Center is my favorite store, freaking of all time. This is out now. Threadripper 2050X is out at Micro Center right now. Or at least it's purchasable. Maybe that's... it might have just came in or something. But when I was there, I saw it in the case. Anyways, I bought the Threadripper quite a while ago. The AMD Threadripper 1950X. This was in my machine at the moment. The 2050X is available at Micro Center near me. I'm thinking I might go 2050, move the 1950 over. That will be a huge upgrade. Great processor from... I got the 1700X and have loved it. I'll buy a used ass 1080 regular. Great processor from AMD. They stepped up the game. Yeah, the processor is unbelievable. When I bought the Threadripper 1950X, the guys at the store... This is why I love Micro Center. This is why I love it to death. I go there saying, I'm going to find these couple upgrades. While I'm there, I'm thinking, why don't I just buy a whole bunch more shit, and I'll just have my setup be a dual stream setup. That's how this all started. But the guy there, when I said, what's this Threadripper? He's like, oh yeah, this one is like 32 cores. It's ridiculous. Or 32 threads. You'll be able to do everything you can imagine on your machine. You don't need a separate stream PC to do that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll have that, but just in one machine. So the guy, why I love Micro Center is the guy's like, hey, I'm fine selling you this, but just know that you don't need it. You don't need to do this. Your PC is super overkill. It's fine. Thank you. But I appreciate that he's saying that. He's not trying to fucking rake you over the coals, to buy the latest stuff like some other stores might do. They're pretty legit guys in there. I've always had a good experience at Micro Center. Micro Center is like Toys R Us for gaming adults. Dude, every time I go to Micro Center, it's like I'm giddy. It's like if I know I'm going to Micro Center, by the way, Friday when I'm going to NASA, I may stop by Micro Center, and I'm excited just even thinking about going to Micro Center. I want to walk down every single aisle and be like, oh, what's the new thing? Is there a new thing? What else can I buy? You know the story from Twitter. I went there last time, was looking for all these different things, looking for something to buy, and they had nothing. They had nothing. They had nothing that was an upgrade for me. The only thing that would have been the 2050X, and I wasn't ready at that time. But I went to look for a keyboard. They didn't have the latest DOS keyboard. I went to look for a rack mount case. They don't sell those. I went to look for a mounting bracket for the 4 panels, which I found, and it was $250. And I went on Amazon and looked it up, and it was like $70. Not the same brand, so they couldn't price match. But I was like, why wouldn't I just order this on Amazon? I'm saving like over, like 200% on this thing. So, yeah, so it was the one time I've been to Micro Center where I didn't buy something. I was kind of upset about it. They also didn't have any mounted Elgato cards. The Elgato HD60 capped cards that are PCI. I have a Hophog HD PVR 2 Pro. That is what I use to get the consoles involved. It's external. There's a little bit of lag. I don't play consoles too much, but if I got something that's a part of my stream, it's got to be no lag. It's got to be whatever the best is. So I'm going to probably buy the Elgato slotted card for that. That's another upgrade that I have on my list, actually. So the 2080 coming up is probably something I'll get right away. The 2050X, we'll see. I know that the biggest upgrade for my stream machine is definitely going to be the new processor over there. The i7-6700 is fine, but the 2050X will make it look, or the 1950X, when I move it from here to there, and by the way, I'll need a new motherboard for that, will make it look like a baby thing that used to be on the machine. It'll make the i7-6700 will look like a garbage. Will look like nothing. Ponies, thank you for the host, bud. So that's kind of those are the next upgrades for the show. And on the topic of DOS keyboard, we've talked about before in the past. What's up, buddy? Let me know the next time you're headed to Cleveland. Can do lunch, dude. I'm gonna be there on Friday. I'll be there in 2 days. By the way, your girl Britt doesn't work there anymore. I swear to God, I saw her last time I was there, and that sucks. Boy, hi, Pony. So let me tell you something. I'm always honest on the show about stuff that's happening with the show. A long time ago on Mosh's Live, the previous installment of Mosh's Live, by the way, we just started the new format this week on Monday. It's more of a stream review show, which was a lot of fun on Monday. But the old format, I used to have guests on the show, and people would be live via Discord video. We'd be chatting. Pony's one of them. Mike actually was a long time ago as well. And a problem with that show and the slot that I'm in now is people work during the day. People have things to do. So it's much harder to get guests when you're in the morning. Well, you might remember that a long time ago I emailed the manager for Visions. Visions is a streamer. He raided me a long time ago when I was playing PUBG. He's a really good guy. He's the Docs. He's the Docs Duos partner. So he's a pretty big streamer. Averages like maybe 1,200 concurrent viewers every time he's live. So I sent his manager an email or a Discord message saying like, "Hey, I know that this is a super long shot, but I would love to have Visions on the show, and these are the things I'd like to talk about." And the guy basically sent back like, "Hey, we took a look at the show, the YouTube stuff. It looks great. It's just not something we're gonna do right now." And I really appreciated that message for several reasons. Number one, it wasn't like laugh out loud, F you, or ignore. It was more of a professional way to handle it. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that. And I have a lot of respect for the manager staff for Visions and himself. But it's great to get denied. You know, when you're streaming sometimes, streamers can get really full of themselves, where they become kind of the center of the universe. And how could you dare not watch my show? How could you dare not come to my show, host me, raid me? How could you not sub? All this kind of stuff. You see this a lot. And people are too big and too popular and all this stuff. And it's I find that we're streaming our small partnered streamers. Yes. People can be egotistical. Yeah. Yeah, and I joke around a lot about myself being super full of myself, which is partially true. I'm super confident, but in my opinion, there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. There's a difference between being egotistical and being confident in your abilities and confident in who you are. So anyways, I sent that email out. I got basically a rejection back. I sent an email back saying thank you so much for even taking a look. You know, maybe in the future we could work something out. And they said, yeah, that would be great. And I even got another email back. So it was really a good professional atmosphere. And I do this a lot for my job anyways, but it's different. You know, when you try something and fail, you sort of learn from it, you know, and move on. Well, you guys may or may not know, and let me shout it out right now, that I am a part of, well, there's my own community. I sent you a couple links to those drones in Discord. Oh, sounds great, man. Thank you so much. Oh, I see him. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So here's some communities. The Hero Squad community is this channel's community. We talk a lot about tech there. We talk a lot about sports there, actually, too. So go check that out if you like. The second community is the bar. That community is for streamers only. You have to be an affiliate to be in. But it's basically a closer community where you can kind of chat about... chat like a group of friends rather than the usual garbage of a large community where it's just people shouting out live links and saying hi and emoting to each other. It's a little more personal, and there's a lot of focused stream theory and stream growth stuff in that Discord, in that community. You're welcome to join if you meet the requirements. I do a lot of work for that community in terms of going out and finding some upcoming exciting things on the sort of the back. I don't want to say business side because it's not a business, you know what I mean? But I am a founder of the community with several other people, Ponies being one of them. And there's a lot of stuff that the leadership of communities has to do to sort of keep moving the community forward and keep people excited about it. One of those things is moving forward on emailing out messages to businesses or to, for instance, maybe merch designers or game developers or publishers, and seeing if they want to set up something, partnership, etc. There's a Twitch EDU community that I help out with. Brain Bites and Rocket Jockeys are both part of it. Oh, cool. Okay. So basically, I sent out all these kind of emails to sort of get the business chat going. One of the things I also did was send out a email for this channel to the makers of my keyboard, the DOS keyboard people. And I sent an email basically saying, hey, here's all my statistics. I'm not a delusional person to think that I have 100, I can influence 300 people a stream to promote your show, all this stuff. That's not what I sent them. I sent them, here's my Sully Numb statistics. Here's it over 3 days. Here's this. Here's the games I focus on. Here's the show I do. Here's a VOD, a YouTube clip of the show that I do on the tech show. And here's why I think that we could work something out. Me and DOS Keyboard. Wrote this huge thing. They sent back, no thanks. It's like... It's not that I'm disappointed by it. I'm happy to receive denied emails. I'm happy with that because that's when you send an email and get denied for it, the person on the other end knows your name. They know your brand now. So when you come back to them after you've overcome any obstacles that were in the way that maybe they caused them to say no, now they know your name. Hey, remember that email I sent you? I talked to a while ago about this. I would love to see if we can work something out now. Here's some new stuff that I've changed. And then we could get another evaluation. I deny people so much more professionally than that. Exactly. I am very happy to receive any notice back. And receiving a denied notice is fine. I'm not even that upset. I'm not upset about it. It was, it's just like the way that they did it was a little weird. An actual video story ran all the time. See the Sports Center segment on Ninja? No, I didn't. Yeah, a standard response more than nope. Yeah, it was a really kind of curt and short response, which is fine. But again, the whole point is that it's good to hear no. It's good to hear that there's more work to do. You know, we talked about in the past on the show about how partners often fall into the trap of, well, I made partner, that's it. Now I'm rich. Here's my house. Here's my Lamborghini Diablo VT in the driveway. And they sort of lose track on what the hell they were doing. We've had partners on the show. Wild Bill and Ichi have both said that partnership is really like, here's a door. Now here's 9 more doors. And I think some people aren't ready for that. And Wild Bill said that he knows a lot of people that got partner and stopped streaming like 2 weeks later because it was not what they thought it was going to be. So I like the fact that I got the no response because that means there's more work to do. I need to get more excited, which is great. But I do really like the business aspect of going out and chatting with these people and kind of building those communications. And I suggest it for anyone. The networking side is more than just, hey, here's my card. It's like one of the EDU streamers has a mobile streaming backpack, the Gun Run. He streams on location of rocket launches and airspace resumes. He's also started getting across access to do the same with ULA and JPL and a couple other places. Is that person's name? The other name. Hang on a second. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. It's I'm looking down my list of people I follow. Jay something. Anyways, yeah, that Valdez, I've seen his live streams. I thought he was using the gun run, actually. Thanks for the lurk, Lucky, by the way. I thought he was using gun run. I've looked at that technology before. So I have a working relationship with a community called the Twitch Kittens, and one of the streamers in that community is named Caljeet, and her manager Modest Merrill did a stream from a zoo. I don't know what zoo. Some zoo where they live. And it's they borrowed a gun run backpack from Twitch, and he was sort of explaining the innards of it. He sent me some links to it. Looked really cool. And I was a little put off by the fact you have to have like 3 or 4 modems to get it to run. He has modified it extensively. Did Valdez buy his own, or is Twitch like loaning it to him? Because I could see both happening. I could see them just being, yes, please use this and stream. You know, he has a big following, and it's a really interesting show. He was actually recommended to me by a streamer named Jamorian, who streams Kerbal Space Program sometimes. Sorry, my chair is being ridiculous. He bought his own with help from viewers. Oh, that's awesome. Those things are really expensive. But, yeah, if he's traveling around doing launches and stuff, that's so cool. I watched a satellite that I've been working on for 7 years, J1, a launch in October. And I stayed up to watch the launch of that. And it was really awesome. Hi, Belle. How you doing? Just a reminder, we're going to finish up the show in about 20 minutes. I got a meeting to get to at 11, ground system architecture meeting. So I'll have to cut out of here a little bit early today. But that's really interesting. I love those gun run backpacks. I always think like, oh, I wonder if I could get Twitch to let me borrow one or do something interesting like that. And then I think, I live in the middle of nowhere. Like, what the hell am I going to do with a gun run backpack? I'd love to use it. I just don't think, the content's not interesting enough. You know, Valdez has a lot of really cool access that the gun run backpack is perfect for. Morning. Hey, Mike. What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so the gun run is very cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming for the bar community. If you're a part of that community, you'll be excited with some upcoming things. Let me think. There's a lot of leads out for this show as well. That could be interesting when we hear back. So it's national security. Ty Dat Juice Lee, thank you for the I see. And now we're going back into the top secret SCI cleared room. Oh hey, ponies, thank you so much for the 5 bits. Just rolling your meeting with the stream backpack. What's up, NASA players? You guys don't mind being on stream, right? Okay. So there's a lot of cool upcoming stuff, exciting stuff to be excited for. So a part of those communities is a good idea. We talked about upgrades for this show. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for the sub. I need to switch that audio. I'm still doing the welcome back hero. I don't know why that is. My blindfold is baby brother of Moshcrates. That's who that is. Thank you so much, man. Sorry there's no gameplay for you to watch today. Today's the tech show. I know that you like to watch gameplay stuff, but today we talk tech for the show. So we got the TI, the 28 Ti coming up. We got the rack mount coming up. That stuff is going to be in the works this week. You can look forward to more information next Wednesday about it. I may even have purchased the 4U chassis, so be ready for that. When I do purchase a 4U chassis, you will see a setup stream. That's why I have the overhead camera right there. I'll put that baby on. You'll be able to see the whole thing while I set it up. Let me bring up my PowerPoint. Thanks for the sub, Double Tick Dan. Welcome to Moshi Boys. And then like do a dance or play a song or something. Awesome. Oh my god, we need the Moshi Boys. This is going to be a 90s rap group. Let me think. So yeah, we got the unboxing and the setup stream will be streamed. That may be a double hitter tech week when that stuff comes in. That'll be exciting. I may be also buying another mixer, although that will take almost no time to set up since it'll just be plug, 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 and it'll be done. Boys to Mosh. Oh, wow. My cousin was obsessed with Boys to Men when we were younger. He might still be. What else is coming up on the show? Oh, TwitchCon, again, I just want a reminder. I'm going to post something on Twitter and in the Discord. I had purchased 2 tickets for TwitchCon, one for myself and one for Mrs. Crates. There has been some scheduling issues with the family in terms of someone that can watch children, and my wife needs to cancel the trip for herself. So I have a ticket for TwitchCon that is unrefundable. However, I can transfer the name to someone. So if anyone is in need of a TwitchCon ticket, or maybe they look at the TwitchCon tickets and say that's a little rich for my blood, probably 50% ticket price. If you want it, I can transfer it to your name. You can let me know on Discord, in the community, in the DM, or something like that. I'd be happy to work that out with you. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, if you're a part of the bar community at TwitchCon, I'm going to be setting something up. There's going to be a new channel probably in the bar community. We'll be talking a little bit more about it. But if you're there, 100% we're meeting up. We'll do something. Even if it's just literally go to a bar and take promo photos for the next season. Oh my god, I want to sing my ass to TC. Do it! But kidnapping, babysitting is life. Yeah. Needs to cancel. Yeah. Ponies and Juice will take care of the kids, no problem. I think we'll let Frump do it. I'm just kidding. Well, she never wanted to go. No, she really did want to go. She kind of wanted to go and see all the people and look at. She likes. They're having that creative corner where it's like artist row or content row or something like that. And she's an artist, so she really wanted to see some of that stuff too. It's kind of a joke on one of the early clips that Ponies made of Frump many months ago, of her being crazy. He's like, "This is why I'll never let her watch my kids." It's one of my favorite clips. So yeah, so that's coming up next month. I'll be at TwitchCon. I'm hoping to do some remote streaming while I'm there, which I will figure out via the Twitch app. Today, I have a meeting in 20 minutes. I'll need about 5 minutes to get ready so we can keep going for a little bit. But that meeting lasts all day. It may turn into the type of meeting where I'm just sort of listening, and if that's the case, you may see an afternoon stream come up. It's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. I will be back tomorrow. We'll be playing games like usual, probably Dead Cells, maybe Slay the Spire, the usual morning games. We'll see how that goes. I think that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you today. If you have any questions about your stream stuff, I'm very happy to answer them either on this show right now or on Twitter or on the Discord. On the Discord link, which I already posted those. You can also get at me on the social media stuff. if you want to ask questions there. But any questions you have about streaming, Twitch theory, settings are a big question. A lot of people have problems with freezing, drop frames and things. They have to kill Spectrum employees. You know, they have to change bitrate settings of their presets. All normal things. You know, feel free to ask those questions during any of my shows, but specifically on the tech show, we answer a lot of those. Trying to think, is there anything I'm missing? What else is coming up? Friday I won't be here. There's no show Friday. I have Gloomhaven on Friday. I'm very excited about that. I keep saying I may set up a show on the road for that, but Gloomhaven is like my most favorite night of the month. So I got to go out for work during the day. We'll probably eat dinner, and then we'll do Gloomhaven at like 7 until like 2 in the morning or something. So we'll see. There may be something super late night on Friday. Tomorrow, regular stream, 9 a.m. until whenever. We'll figure it out. But that'll be games. Yeah, I'll have to find that link for you, Mike. We can post it in the Hero Squad Discord later on. And Ponies, if you got it, you can post it up too. Wait, are we supposed to listen into meetings? To listen in meetings? Usually it's just listening. This one is a new technology that's coming to JPSS and NOAA. So I got to be a part of it because I basically do all the architecture. So I probably have to contribute a little bit. I think it's called Psychopotamus. But don't quote me on that despite having quotes around that. Okay, let's go find someone to hang out with.